life depends on the network you choose. Your movies, music, and games can only be as good as your network speed and strength. Slow means
game over.
But the Philippines' fastest mobile data network means
game changing.
Choose the network that gives you what you truly enjoy. How do you know about this Giga Life?
Simple eh? Smart ako.
And we are live once again. Welcome mga Pinoyliga, and thank you very much for joining us. Welcome mga Pinoyliga to a brand new episode of Bull by the Horn, episode 9. Episode 9. Nine episodes na po tayo. It's been a while, since we started, I remember starting this around April with a few topics on hand. But right now, we're into our ninth episode already, and a total of 20, almost 20 na rin for the whole webcasts of Pinoy Liga. And we have grown to get a few more webcasts, with Mix Bustos and with the guys from Jump Through Hoops, sila Aaron Ataide, tsaka sila Jean Rupio. Welcome once again. Welcome. Magandang gabi uli po sa inyong lahat, and it's gonna be a very, very nice topic tonight, at marami tayong mapipick up sa ating mga kasamahan sa ating panel tonight. We're gonna have one of the best coaches in the Philippines. He, in fact, if we would like to put in the annals of Philippine basketball, you would have to put this person into that upper echelon of Philippine basketball coaches in our country's rich basketballers. Tonight, guys, we have the great Coach Chot Reyes be with us sa ating panel, and we get to talk about so many things within. But not so much on the basketball side. We have to flesh out, so to speak, yung Coach Chot Reyes 2.0. So when we talk about Coach Chot Reyes 2.0, we're talking here of what has he been doing tonight, and sa ating mga kasamahan na nakikinig, ano na ba si Chot Reyes ngayon? Chot Reyes is a much sought after business coach executive na po siya ngayon. So we'd like to talk about that, and we'd like to see ano ba yung reinvention, kasi di ba ngayon ang palaging pinag-uusapan natin this pandemic, it's about reinvention, about pivot, about reimagining who you are. And I think Coach Chot Reyes embodies that kind of reinvention that has happened to his life journey, so to speak. So very, very, very important yung ma-mention natin yung life journey. But ako po, hindi ako mag-iisa ngayon tonight. I'll be with Mr. Mix Bustos, ang ating kasamahan din sa ating Pinoy Liga webcast ecosystem, with his off the record. So without further ado, guys, sama ko na si Mix Bustos dito sa ating panel. Mix, how are you, brother?
Oh, hello Benny. Hello, good evening mga Kapinoy Liga. Benny, maraming salamat sa pag-imbita. Doing well and doing great. Siyempre, ngayon tayo sa 9th episode, and congratulations.
Ay, Thank you very much, Migs. Thank you very much first for being with us here in the show. Ako medyo I would like to have someone to flesh out yung ating bisita ngayon, because we could learn a lot from him. Ako kasi personally, no, I'd like to tell this to everyone that I'm a big fan of John Maxwell, and isa sa talaga sa mga nag-i-interest ko kung bakit sabi ko I want to take in Coach Chot Reyes because of his teachings about John Maxwell's teachings. So kung paano niya binababa dito sa ating bansa and to the top executives of the Philippines yung mga ganong learnings. But before we have si Coach Chot into the discussion panel, we'd like to tell everyone, the one that's listening, that guys, feel free to comment. Feel free to give your questions because like what we always do, Migs, sa ating Bull by the Horn, sa ating Usapang PSL, we give out the Kickstart Coffee question of the day. Kumbaga, kung sino-sino yung mga nagbibigay ng questions, we give them a gift pack na ating ibibigay sa ating mga winners. So and tayo. So I hope that the listeners right now would be able to send us most of the mga magagandang questions out there. Before we enter dun sa ating discussion, Mig, let me just show you a video of Coach Chot Reyes. Kung ano ba yung gusto nating pag-usapan with Coach. Let's watch this.
Ladies and gentlemen, motivation is a heart issue. But I'm sure you will agree, real motivation comes from within. Dear leaders, what I find, the only way to motivate another individual is to be first self-motivated yourselves first. Let me repeat it again for the second time in case you missed the double redundancy. The only way you can motivate another leader is to be first self-motivated yourselves first.
Wow, very powerful stuff, Migs. These are the type of things that we'll be talking today. Yes, Migs.
Actually, Benny, kaya ako talaga na intriga when you mentioned to me that sabi mo, Migs, baka pwede mo ako samahan with Coach Chot Reyes in the webinar. It was an auto yes for me. Kasi I've been talking a lot with Ren. Di ba, meron din kami mga projects ngayon. And when we would talk basketball in the background, when we talk SSNOs, when we talk about etc., he would talk about his experience. Sabi ni Ren Ritualo, and he can attest to this, by far, as in undoubtedly, the best motivator that he's been under is Coach Chot Reyes. I think he was with Coach Chot with Talk and Text. And yun na nga, sabi ko, that word motivation, nung pinlay mo yung video na yun kaagad yung unang lumabas yung motivation. And I think that word motivation right now is something that we need, something that we ought to have, diba, in this time of new normal. Diba? Ano ba yung mga motivation natin ngayon na naka-sideline tayo, na marami tayong limitation? Paano ba tayo gumigising sa araw-araw? Paano ba natin papalaguin yung negosyo natin? Paano natin gagawing best yung kaya natin gawin given that we're only here at home? So yeah, I'm so intrigued and I want to learn more about the Coach Chot Reyes' principles of motivation.
All right. So without further ado, Migs, siguro let's try to welcome in na rin si Coach Chot Reyes and give him the floor so that we could start the discussion. Coach!
Hi, good evening, Benny. Thanks for the invite. Migs, how are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you here, Coach. Good evening.
Coach, thank you very much again for taking our invitation to be part of this discussion. And I'll give you the floor first, Coach. We'll give you the floor to give your shout outs to your thousands of fans who's listening out there. Go ahead, Coach.
Hindi ako mahilig sa ganyan eh. I just, I'm just looking forward to share my thoughts, to answer any questions and just kind of shoot the breeze with the two of you. I was intrigued by your invite on the digital transformation because, I'm not a digital native. I try to be as digital as I can. But a long time ago, 5 years ago, When I was still with TV5, we saw the value and how important digital was going to be. So we had huge pivots to the digital space. If you will remember, kaming una nag-air ng esports Dota World Championships on free-to-air TV. Kaming unang gumawa ng mga digital-only content because I could see as far back as 5 years ago how this would be important. It's ika nga, the new reality. So, but I will be the first to say I'm not a digital native. I'm not a techie at all. I try to cope, but malayo ako dun sa mga iba. However, I think having said that, my mindset is very digitally oriented. I know that everything you do today has to have a digital component. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind.
Coach Chot, anong tingin mo ngayon? Ngayon na nagpipivot na maraming sportscasters, sports journalists, at dami nating webinars na nakikita. Diba? What is your take so far for the past 6 months on how sports content was consumed, diba, through digital?
I think not only in sports but in other businesses as well. The pandemic, COVID, unfortunate as it is, COVID did in a few months what it took 3, 4, 5 years for other companies to do, and that is to digitally transform themselves. They were kind of forced, napilitan sila, forced to good. And so that goes the same with everybody else, especially in our industry in sports. And now you're seeing that you can produce and deliver sports content this way. Yes, there are some limitations, but now it's a question of creativity. It's a question of creativity and knowledge of the platform. Obviously, having a strong back end, having strong digital chops helps. But like I said, what the pandemic did was to force a digital transformation on a lot of people. And I work, like Benny said earlier, I work with a lot of executives, my clients today. They're all in the same situation. Sabi nga nila, di ba, itong pandemic, we may be in different boats, but we're all battling the same storm. But we're in different boats. But all my clients, lahat sila, they're all in the midst, early on, later on, but they're all in the midst of having some form of digital transformation. So yun ang nakikita natin now with what's happening.
Coach, I'd like to, track your journey into where we are right now with the Coach Chot Reyes brand, so to speak, Kasi syempre, a lot has been said about your coaching tenure and the type of championships na nakuha natin doon and the successes of the Gilas program, under your wings, But tell us, when did it all start, Because after your journey with Five, syempre pumasok ka na doon sa entrepreneurial track mo, Tell us about it, Kasi ang sarap tignan ngayon nung para bang napunta ka dun sa basketball, tapos corporate life, now you're talking about your entrepreneurship journey. Tell us.
Actually, very few people know that even while I was coaching, I was already an entrepreneur. My management consulting and executive coaching company, CoachCom.Inc., has been in existence since 2002. So 18 years na yon. And our salon, yung Tony and Guy Philippines, which we are part owners and I'm the chairman and CEO, has been in existence for the same number of years. So I've been an entrepreneur for quite a while already, even while I was coaching. And then everybody knows when I retired from the PBA, I became the CEO of TV5. And this is what I bring to the engagements and the work I do now with executives. I am a practitioner and a professional. I'm a certified executive coach. I'm a certified team coach. As you know, I'm a licensed John Maxwell team facilitator. So I have all of these professional affiliations and credentials and education, but I'm also a practitioner. So it cannot be denied that I'm a coach. I'm a real coach, professional sports coach, and that has now translated into executive coaching. But I'm also an entrepreneur and a business owner and a former CEO. So all of these things, I've never said that I'm the smartest or the best, but I think I I'm the only one in the country with that combination of experiences. So, yun ang dinadala ko to my engagements now. So, yun yung journey. Parang where I am today is just an amalgamation of everything that I've gone through. Kaya ang tawag nila is CEO, coach, executive, tsaka owner. Yun talaga, yung ibig sabihin ng CEO. And in the true sense of the word. And in the true sense of the word. And I've been there. And ang maganda doon, I've been on both sides of the coin. Everybody knows I've had some success as a coach. It's also very widely documented that I've been fired several times from my job as a coach. I've won championships. I've lost championships. I've been celebrated on social media. I've been bashed like nothing like no other on social media. I've been on both sides of the coin. On the entrepreneurial side, I have businesses now that are doing pretty well, but I've also had businesses that had to close down. And I had my share of challenges as an executive as well, as a CEO. So, yun ang dinadala ko. That whole range of experiences. Kumbaga, ano talaga, been there, been that talaga. So, that's why when I come in, I have the education and the theoretic knowledge background, but I also have the experience. So that's why I like to say that I'm a professional and a practitioner at the same time.
Coach Chot,
Agree on that, Coach.
Where did the interest come from? You mentioned that the Coach Con Inc. Started 2002, but when you were younger, I'm sure you had foresight. Diba? Did that come in when you were in high school or college? That's why you're pursuing what you're doing now.
It happened because when I remember I won my first championship. I was 29 years old. I was with Pure Foods, Migs. They invited me. One of the Ayala groups, IMI, it's a tech company, invited me to give a talk to their employees. Sabi ko, ano sasabihin ko doon? Basketball coach ako, malay ko. So sabi nila, hindi, just kwento mo lang. Just tell the story of how you did it. What are the elements to the success? How you were able to put that together? So I went there, was very, very nervous. Di ko talaga alam gagawin ko. Kwento ko lang. So to my surprise, it really resonated and it clicked. So what I learned was that people, when I give talks, they really love to hear stories. So if you've ever attended any of my talks, I don't do PowerPoints, decks, and all that because the last thing employees want to see is another deck, diba? They're so super PowerPoint na sila sa trabaho. I bring the video, I show a video of a Gilas game or a talk and text game. I break down that video, then we distill the learnings, the importance of trust, effort, accountability, motivation. I have a very strong team model. I teach a step-by-step model for building teams. So, doon nag-umpisa yun. So, I kind of enjoyed myself, and more importantly, ang ganda ng feedback from even top management sa Ayala Group. So, after that, palagi na ako na-invite, and then I got invited to one of the top insurance companies, Film Life. In the Film Life auditorium pa noon, daming tao, 1,000 yata yun. So that's where it started. And then, the companies that I was working with started inviting me for some more regular engagement. So akala ko magiging management consultant ako, the traditional management consultant, So I took my MBA, I took my international MBA sa Edinburgh School of Business here at UTWAT. And I thought I was going to be a management consultant. Because para maging management consultant ako, I have to have that background. That's where I found executive and business and corporate coaching. And sabi ko, this speaks to who I am as a person. Yun talaga tumatak sa akin. But that was, like I said, that was early 2000. Hindi mo pa narinig yung executive and business coaching dito sa Pilipinas. It was very early. It was in its infancy. But we were very early there sa CoachCom. So that's where it began. Kaya lang, it never became a full-blown business. It's a full-blown company and all that. But it was never a full-blown business because I was still coaching. So parang naging on the side lang siya. Until now, when I finally retired last year, now we're really... Actually, the reason I retired was because I really wanted to go full-time into the executive coaching practice. And also we had expansion plans for Tony and Guy for this year, very aggressive expansion plans. Kaya lang, naantala kami ng COVID. But those were the two reasons why really to go full time into the into my executive coaching practice, and also to Tony and Guy, and also to rest, because the last 5 years, the combination of coaching Gilas and running TV5 was, pwede ba sabihin dito, was a bitch. I mean, it was really hirap talaga nun. Can you imagine? Di ba? I mean, to be under that kind of microscope and pressure coaching Gilas, and then running the undisputed number 3 network in the country that was not really making money. It was really very difficult. So after a while, I felt it was time to take a break. And I've been working since I was second year college, since I was 18 years old. So that's really, wow. So when I retired last year, that's really almost 40 years straight, non-stop working, 38 years of non-stop working. So I said it was time to kind of kick back, take it a lot easier. So yun yung storya nun.
Yeah, Coach, I'd like to understand now that it's COVID. You told us that you're into executive training now, which is, to be honest with you, that's the type of job that I'd like to have someday. Kasi talagang it resonates to entrepreneurship, yung track na yun, yung gusto natin mai-cascade down sa ating sa younger generation. How are you adjusting to COVID-19, considering that training, all of these things, all of the consultancy aspect of this business that you have entails a lot of face-to-face. This entails a lot of one versus many talks. So how are you adjusting as a business entity for Coachcom?
To be honest, the physical adjustment was not too difficult, because when I retired last year, I was essentially already working from home. So this is my office. This environment is not new to me, because this is really already where I work. Essentially, I have an office. Coachcom has an office at the TechTite Tower, but other than that, I've really been working from here. However, we had a very, very full client list and full engagement schedule for the entire year. And ang malaking nawala yung team building, because we did a lot of outdoor team building for companies. And that was a very big revenue driver for us, big business for us yun. Yun talaga yung nawala. But the executive coaching, speaking engagements, obviously in March and April, that kind of went down. But I took advantage. I used it to develop the other parts of our business. So fortunately, before COVID hit, I was already able to develop a leadership framework. I call it the heart of a leader. Kasi I'm known for puso, di ba? So puso, English is heart.
Yes.
Ang ginawa ko, I just took a look at what a lot of my my clients were asking for. And paulit-ulit yon, agility, resilience. Even before COVID, the top item everyone was asking me to talk about were agility, resilience, and building teams. Because this is the age of agile, when you have to now transform, the digital transformation and all that. That's why I became a certified agile and scrum management coach. I got my certification from Singapore in last year, September of last year, even before COVID hit. I have a certification in the science of well-being for emotional intelligence and all that. I completed the course in mastering resilience, and obviously I'm a certified team coach. So I put it all together, and I said, this is my heart model. This is my model for leadership, and the foundation of which is health, physical health. Kasi nakakalimutan ng maraming executives yun, and I see that all the time, even in sa TV5, in the MVP PLDT group of companies. I see that all the time. And I see that also from the chairman, si MVP himself. MVP, no matter how busy he is, will find time to play badminton. He will always have, maski alas 10 ng gabi yan, alas 11 ng gabi, you will see him sa polo club. He has a group there. He always finds time to play badminton. For him, physical health is very important. So sa akin, yun ang foundation of all great leadership is physical health. Kasi isipin mo, kung masakitin ka, palagi kang sinisipon, inuubo, di ka makapasok, how can you lead? Right? So it's very fundamental. The problem is, most of us, we only think of our health pag meron na tayong nararamdaman. So in my practice, I coach the leader. So if you notice now, a lot of my posts on Instagram and all that are about my fitness
Yes.
regimen, my workouts and all that, because it's really my way of practicing what I preach. So that's the foundation, and science shows that good physical health promotes a sharper mental acuity and higher emotional intelligence. So the letter E of the heart model is emotional intelligence. The letter A is agility. R is resilience, and T is teammanship or team leadership. So yun, so that's dun umiikot lahat ng pinag-uusapan ko. And when you think about it, lahat ng iisipin mo about leadership is there. Tamang-tama, hindi ko naman in-expect na mangyayari itong COVID. So now, more than ever, yung value of health is really now at the forefront. And then with all of the mental health issues, the importance of emotional intelligence is now suddenly so vital, di ba? And then we don't have to belabor the value of agility. And then now, resilience. Yung mga nawalan ng trabaho, yung mga negosyong bumabagsak, or the ability to recover, to constantly recover. So my model is that I don't only coach it, I don't only teach it, because ikaw, Benny, I'm sure you know the value of that. I'm sure, Mix, emotional intelligence, agility, resilience, that's important. And so with my clients, with all the executives I work with. But the question is, can you coach it? Alam mo, importante yon. And chances are you are where you are today because you practice those things. Pero, can you coach it? That's where now I come in. Diba? I give you practical models na pwede mo ngayon ituro sa mga tao mo. Parang basketball lang yan, Mix, diba? Magaling kang player, but not necessarily magaling kang coach, diba? You can be a great three-point shooter, but can you coach it? So, ganun din yun.
What does it take for someone to coach it? Sorry, Benny. I'll just
go ahead.
What does it take?
First of all, it's the realization and the awareness. You have to be aware that you don't know how to coach it. Huwag ka magmamarunong. I think it takes an inordinate amount of humility and courage. Diba? You have to be aware that you need it's a different set of skills. And then you have to have what we call the growth mindset, which I talk a lot about, to know that no matter how successful you are in a certain stage or a certain area of business or corporate work, there is still a lot you need to learn and you need to know. And that's where so you have to first be aware, and then you have to acknowledge that marami ka pang kailangan matutunan, and then you have to go out and seek and acquire that knowledge. So one of the videos that I sent you, Benny, I was talking about that, the growth mindset, di ba? Kasi yun talaga ang napaka-importante. You cannot be agile unless you have a growth mindset. If you have a fixed mindset, you cannot be agile. And kasama na doon yung resilience. So agility and resilience, they really go hand in hand. So yun, very practical. It's not rocket science, hindi mahirap isipin, it's nothing new, except I really give you tools to be able to coach it on a practical level.
To your point earlier, Coach, about the highs and lows of life, the successes and the failures, I think you touched base on the failure side, where it is very critical to the experiential and to the teachings that you have, and I think that's very parang wise of you to actually dwell on that as well, equally to that successes, and I think it says a lot about the Maxwellian way that you're teaching, kasi I've been reading a lot of all of those. I started with Maxwell 10-15 years ago when yung book journey ko, and it says a lot about the importance of failing forward. I'm sure that you're familiar with that, so
fail fast and fail forward.
Exactly. So with that said, Coach, Migs, let's try to capture a bit of coach's other side, the digital side and the social media savvy side, which until now sinasabi niya hindi raw siya savvy, pero ang dami natin nakikita sa social media how he is fit. Actually, sa totoo lang, coach, fan mo ako pag nasa ilalim ka na ng ng hagdanan mo pag nagka-kettlebell ka na eh. I know that. So, kumbaga, pinapanood
Okay,
kita. Pati sila Ice, nakikita ko, your son, pag nasa swimming pool kayo, para kayo talagang family of fit eh. So, we'll touch on that and a few more of your social media persona. Let's just catch our breath and, show some of our partner brands and what they do. No? So, catch us after this break. We have to say Armano to our friends from Kickstart Coffee. Again, my good friend Mike Asuncion of Silka Coffee. Thank you very much for supporting the Pinoyliga webcast. So, and we're back with Coach Chot Reyes. Grabe, this is one of, honestly, Coach, Mix, and I just want to share, this is one of those enjoyable moments of interviewing people because you don't have to talk too much. You have to
Natututo ka eh.
Oo,
Ang bonus lang na nandito ako, pero viewer ako dito, Benny, viewer ako dito.
Para ako, ginagawa ko na lang, nagaganito ako, sabi ko, oo nga, no, tama nga yun, So, Coach, tell us a lot about what's happening to Coach Chot Reyes 2.0 from a social media perspective naman. Ito maganda, Migs, because Coach Chot has been doing this type of analysis over YouTube naman eh. So, pag nakikita ko, sabi ko, parang binibreakdown niya yung laro in such a way where, you could see it from a coach's perspective. Coach, tell us about it. And I'm very interested to know what's your objective in that.
That really started because I did a my coaching outreach. Well, it starts from my purpose. My purpose, if you will call Coach Chot Reyes 2.0, my purpose really is to help develop the next generation of Filipino leaders, because I'm sure you will agree what this pandemic has shown us is that we really have a dearth of leadership in the country. So my purpose is to help develop the next generation of Filipino leaders. And that's why I work with corporations, companies, and all that. But also, one very important segment are the Filipino coaches who are in the province. Those who don't have otherwise the means to come or pay to attend a workshop and a seminar. So I said, why don't I give a free outreach masterclass? So I wanted to choose only 12, but we had 160 or something serious applicants. So I ended up with 16 coaches. Is from the island of some island of Sorsogon, may taga Kidapawan, may taga Cebu, may taga iba-ibang lugar sa Pilipinas in the provinces. And so part of that is breaking down a lot of the NBA finals. Ang dami nilang tanong doon. So my objective there is I'm teaching them everything I know. We meet every Friday for 2 hours for a couple of months. And everything I know, we teach them the latest in the pick and roll system in Europe. We teach them how to install the dribble drive. We teach them the latest defensive principles of Coach Tab Baldwin. Lahat. And so now, part of that yung NBA kasi syempre, that's the on-in thing now. So, naging, yun ang kinalabasan. Pina-analyze sa akin yung video and all that. So, I said, sige nga, ilagay na natin sa... So, when we were breaking it down, sabi ng yung mga bugoy, tawag ko doon sa mga coaches, yung mga bugoy, sabi nila, coach, ang ganda nito, ilagay mo ito sa sa Instagram mo. I've had a YouTube channel that's just been there because it's like the Chot Reyes Facebook page. The only reason I put it up because there were so many Chot Reyes imposters,
Pages.
People pages, and so saying things on YouTube. So I felt I put up an official one just so that there's an official one. So I just started putting it there. Ang problema ngayon, lahat ng tao tinatanong, ang nagtatanong naman sa akin ngayon, tinatanong naman, gumawa ka naman ng rondo, si Mark Joko ng Inquirers. I'm so, like yesterday, I gave 2 workshops. The other day, I had a talk and all that. So, hindi biro, gawin yung ganun na di ba? But, I enjoy it. We'll see what happens. Unless gustong gawin ng Pinoyliga for me yun,
Why not, Coach? Let's do
Benny,
it.
bumubusti na si Coach Chot, ha?
Actually,
Tinignan mo
Coach,
yung video ni Coach Chot, simple lang, kayang-kayang gawin, no?
Coach, sabi ni RD Rico Navarro, challenge for Coach Chot. Please do an on-the-spot group coaching job on Benny and Migs. Ask them their goals for Pinoyliga. Grabe, nagkaroon tayo tuloy ng exercise dito sa online. Ibang klase
Actually, kanina pa,
nangyari sa atin,
yung heart, Benny, tinake down ko na yun, yung meaning ng heart. So that's an
Di ba?
exercise in itself. Oh, galing.
I love when a coach talks talaga eh. Coach, go ahead.
Yeah, well, if I were going to coach you, the first thing I will ask you is what is the purpose? Bakit mo may Pinoyliga? What is the pain or the why of Pinoyliga?
Yeah,
Coach, do I answer this now? Sige, Coach.
Yeah.
I love this session.
Sina-challenge tayo ng listeners mo eh.
Hindi, ang sabi nila, well, ako Coach, to be honest with you, the vision of Pinoyliga is to unify Philippine basketball, because our goal really is to have that one, kumbaga, compartmentalized bank of stats that is cloud-based, that is easily accessible to everyone. Pagkatapos, ang gusto natin mangyari is for Pinoyliga to be able to have profiling of basketball players. So, ibig sabihin, across the nation, each player could personalize their profile so that scoutable na siya. Kahit nasa Kidapawan ka pa, if you have a Pinoyliga profile, your stats are there. Makikita ka, no? So, kumbaga, I want to be that great unifier for Philippine basketball. And now, nanganak na siya eh. Nagkaroon siya ng newsfeed page, nagkaroon siya ngayon ng mga digital contents like what we've been doing, Migs and I, and a few more of our friends. So it has now become a digital content provider as well, together with that unifying of the basketball leagues and the basketball players here in the Philippines. So that really is the purpose, Coach, to unify everyone, every Filipino na basketballista, and siguro eventually other sports.
Great. What values do you live by?
We live by, syempre, and then, nandiyan na yung sinasabi mo kasing teamwork, and unifying everyone. Nandiyan na yung gagawin natin na, kumbaga, we string everyone together into this platform. It's really the teamwork, that you mentioned kanina, which is highly sought after. Nung tinitignan nga namin yung research about Coach Com, nakita namin teamwork talaga is really in the play with you guys. So it's teamwork din, Coach, stringing everyone together.
The reason is everyone talks about teamwork, even in organizations. Your boss will promote you. They'll say, congratulations, Migs, you've just been promoted to manager of so-and-so. When one of your KPIs is to develop your business unit into a highly functioning team. Kakamot ka ng ulo. Wala naman nagturo sa yung teamwork, di ba? I mean, I have an MBA. I've never had a class teaching the fundamentals of teamwork or team building 101, di ba? And yet, everyone, just almost by sheer magic, expects that any manager can build teams. Pero, truly, how? Di ba? Wala naman nagtuturo, di ba? So, that's where we come in. We teach a step-by-step, scientifically proven model for building teams. I've used it sa Ginas, sa TV5, all over. So,
Coach, ang galing, no? Galing on how businesses and how corporations, of course, go to coaches. Of course, not just Chot Reyes. Maraming coaches all over the world. They ask for expertise on how to work with teams. Isn't it fun, or isn't it kumbaga you find some joy on you being consulted on how to work with teams? Kasi nga, syempre, minsan ang makikita mo sa landscape ng mundo, sports is just a niche market eh.
Yeah.
Diba? But at the same time, these people go to you to learn more about teamwork because of what we learn in sports. Diba, Coach?
Yeah. I'll tell you a very interesting story. When I started with Coach Tim sa Alaska, our first meeting with Mr. Fred Uitengsu, Tinanong ni Tim, so Fred, what is your marching order for us, for the team? Sabi ni Fred, very simple. I want you to run the team the way I run my business. The way he runs Alaska daw. Okay, so yan. Kaya naka-necktie kami, di ba? Corporate and all
Yes.
that. So,
Yes.
few months later, I had the country manager of Procter and Gamble. They engaged me to work with their teams to build their team. So I asked the CEO, sabi ko, sir, so what is your marching order for me before I work with your managers? Sabi niya sa akin, very simple. I want you to teach my team how to work like a basketball team. So umiikot na di ba? Baliktad. So it's really flipped. So there are so many parallels. There's so many applications in sports that are very useful and very valuable in business. I mean, the latest, I think it was Fortune 500, the latest research of CEOs or top executives in the US was that 90% of top executives or CEOs in the US were elite athletes in college.
Oh.
And then they polled 800 plus female top executives. The number was 95%. Were elite
Much higher,
athletes in college. That's why sinasabi ko sa mga parents, you want your kids to be a CEO, get them into sports. There is no better preparation. Because sports obviously teaches you discipline, work ethic, the value of teamwork, but there is something sports teaches you that very few things can, and that is how to recover from a loss.
That's true.
How to bounce
Resilience.
back. Diba? Yun ang resilience talaga, yun tinuturo talaga ng sports yun. So that's why I have one of my clients recently was Microsoft. And the country manager of Microsoft here is Andres Ortola. He's Argentine. He's a former national rugby team player ng Argentina. Can you imagine? National team siya, rugby. And now he's the GM of Microsoft dito sa Pilipinas. So there's a real connection there. I'm not saying it's all athletes will be good CEOs, but I think it's a big it's a big plus.
It's the mental aspect of being an athlete, coach, that is in the forefront of that mentality that you're saying. Coach, tell us about your usual engagements ba ano nga ba yung kumbaga if I'm a local company what would normally be that something that I would gain value from Coach Com? What would be it for a local company again kumbaga if I'm an SME in this current environment now of COVID, what will I gain? What is the value of a Coach Com to me now considering that I hope na sana maka-recover ako dito, ako nahihirapan, can Coach Com help me?
Yeah, it depends. Coach Com, we pride ourselves in our ability to customize and design fit for purpose programs for our clients. Wala kaming mga dekahon na programs. Everything is fit for purpose, is designed specifically for the client's needs. So if you are an SME, for example, today, and you are grappling, I'll give you a perfect example, an actual company, SME that I'm working with now. One of their biggest clients is in one of the industries that has been severely hit by the pandemic, and so now they are grappling with pivoting their business, getting on the online space, digitizing their operations and all that. Unfortunately, their management team are kind of not digitally savvy enough. So the owner hired me to coach the GM, and part of that engagement is to work with the entire management committee, the top leadership team of the company. So we're talking about a lot of things, but the most important thing, the starting point really is the ability to settle yourself and cope with the anxiety. Kasi yun ang pinakauna eh. Diba? Right now, everyone is going through that anxiety, whether you're a business or an individual. So the starting is to settle people first, to relax, give them tools how they can cope with that anxiety. So we give them practical tools, our mindfulness technique, our breath work, our different breathing exercises, our breathing protocols, and so on and so forth, to be able to improve that space. Di ba? May stimulus, may response, and then there's that space in between. Kailangan lumaki yun eh. So that you're able to come from a place where you can step back, really take a look and assess and take a look at your situation and take a look at your options. A lot of times, that's all they need. A lot of times, people are just so, di ba? Think about it. The more chaotic the environment is outside, the more peace you need inside. Di ba?
Wow,
Lalong
powerful.
magulo yung labas mo, lalong kailangan yung kapayapaan sa loob mo. Eh, yun ang problema kasi dahil sa gulo sa pangyayari sa labas, lahat tayo, utak natin, puso natin, damdamin natin, nagugulo. So now, that's where I come in. I say, okay, so we give them tools. We give them tools to be able to do that, to relax, to gather. So we don't try to make them solve right away. Sabi ko, settle muna and then solve. Settle muna. And then, kasi sometimes pag may issue, sinosolve nila kagad eh. Wag. Settle first, solve.
Coach Chot, meron ka bang similar or parallel experience in coaching that sobrang ang gulo, but you need to...
Well,
can you name one or two?
Well, the one thing kasi that we pride ourselves, I think any coach worth his salt has to be able to think on his feet.
True.
I'm sure you understand that. Diba? That's diba? Yun ang difference.
Situationals.
Yeah, sa executives. In the executive world, you have weeks or sometimes 2-3 months to make a decision. Sinasabi ko nga, kung mali pa ba naman yung decision mo sa dami ng oras mo, umalis ka na dyan. Diba? But in a game, in sports, you have a split second to make a decision. So the ability to think on your feet. So that's one of the things that I talk about. How are you able to have that ability to think on your feet, not to get rattled, diba? The ability to come back from a tambak. Yan, maraming request ng talk na yan. How do you come back from a tambak? Diba? So, meron na tayo dyan. A, B, C, D. Simple lang yan. Just follow the A, B, C, Ds. Okay. Then, so it's very practical. It's not, sabi ko, kung tambak ka, letter A, you have to be aware first. Oy, tambak na ako. Diba? So now, what do you need to do? You have to adjust. Diba? Adjust ka muna. Letter B, malaking tambak ka, hindi mo magagawa yan kung down ka ng 20 sa basketball. There's no such thing as a 21-point play. Diba? So letter B, you have to understand bit by bit. Babawiin mo yan unti-unti. So what can you do now to reduce that margin? So kami, if I'm down, for example, perfect example, sa Croatia, we were down 14 points in the first quarter. In the huddle between first and second quarter, sinabi ko sa players, okay, we're fine. Now we've gotten the ditch jitters out. Now target natin sa second quarter, let's cut that 14-point deficit to half. And we did. We got it to 6 points at halftime. And then sa third quarter, so bit by bit, letters B. Letter C, creativity. What are the other things? How can you be more creative in your approach? What are the different things you can do na hindi ina-expect ng kalaban? Diba? And then letter D, just the discipline of execution. So, a lot of times kasi, pag dumikit ka na, parang tayo sa Croatia, dumikit na tayo, di ba? Na-excite na tayo. And then, doon tayo magkakamali, then matatalo and all that. That's where now you have to have that discipline of execution. Pag dumikit ka na, make sure you're disciplined enough to follow through and execute. So, that's an example, di ba? How do you come back from a tambak? Simple, A, B, C, D, fundamentals. Just go back to basics. So,
Coach, ano ulit yung B, Coach?
Bit by bit.
Bit by bit.
Yeah.
Bit by
There's
bit.
no such thing as a 21-point play.
Sorry, Coach, nag-notes ako. Awareness, bit by bit, creativity, and discipline of execution. I like Coach Chot's acronyms. Very
Galing,
practical
ano?
but powerful.
Di ba? Madali
Di ba?
tandaan eh. Hindi
Oo.
kailangan memorize eh. So yung bit by bit kasi, the question is, so what should I do now? Down ako ng 20, anong gagawin ko? Huwag mo isipin anong gagawin mo para mahabol yung 20. Hindi mo kaya. But ngayon, right this play, right this possession, what should we do now? So,
Granular.
di ba?
Coach, pwede ba akong maybe on top of that? Benny, pasensya na.
Wala,
Coach Chot Reyes Di ba? Coach,
Take advantage of this.
imbis na tambak, you're down 1. Final possession, you're in the timeout. Sabi mo, a split second, you only have 60 seconds to make a play. You only have 60 seconds to make a decision.
Parang pinapatamaan mo ako dyan sa Argentina play. Well, the first thing there, the first thing there is, as a coach, you should have been prepared for that situation. You should have been able to practice those situations over and over again in your practice, so that when that time comes, your players have that confidence, you know what to do. Secondly, as a coach, you need to make that decision now. The decision is, are you going to put the hands in your best player, or are you going to attack the weakest defender of the other team? Diba? Parang Toronto, Game 6. Bakit? Ang dami ng... Ayoko sabihin, pag gagawan na naman ako ng coach's vision ito eh. Bakit daw si Powell yung last shot sa Toronto in regulation time? Kasi ang rule ni Nick Nurse, we will attack Kemba Walker, who they thought was their worst defensive player. They don't want to attack Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown or Smart or Marcus Smart. So you have to make the decision. Are you going to put the ball in the hands of your best player, who is probably going to be defended by the other team's best defender? Correct. Or are you going to attack their weakest defender? Diba? So those are the decisions that you have to make as a coach. So number 1, you should have practiced it. Number 2, you have to make that hard decision. And then number 3, you just have to trust your players. You have to trust them, and tawag natin, pakawalan mo sila. Let them play. Let them play. Don't overcomplicate things. Diba? Just sometimes just you get something done to make sure. Alam lang nila, like what happened in that Argentina play, we really wanted to get the ball to Jimmy because he was very hot, but they denied him. But still, we got the ball in the hands of Jason, who was Asia's best point guard. So that was those were chances that we wanted to do. But we didn't get a good shot. And I've said so many times, that's on me. That's my accountability. That's my responsibility. Because paniwala ko, our job as coaches is to get a good shot for our team. That is our job as coaches. Making the shot, that's the player's job. So for us, in that, when the last shot sa Croatia, we got a good shot. Hindi na shoot ni Jeff, na foul siya, hindi tinawag. I'm fine with it because we got the shot we wanted. But in Argentina, we didn't get the shot with the look we wanted. I should have done something to get Jason a better look. And so that's on me. That's the coach's fault. Because like I said, whether in sports or in corporate work or in business, the boss's job is to get his guys, his people, a good look. But making the shot, diba? That's the employee's job, or that's the player's job.
Ang Benny, kaya ako naman din natanong yun. Because of course, nasabi ni Coach, marami nagtatanong sa kanya, how do you get back from a comeback? But at the same time, in life, you have to make quick decisions. Yeah. Especially now that we don't know what's going to happen, we don't know what to do. Coach, kaya ako naman yung natanong is, how can you relate your coaching experience from those kind of experiences now in life? Diba? Hindi lang sa corporate world, pero pati tayong mga nagsisimula, tayong mga family men, etc.
The understanding that it is up and down, it's a roller coaster life, it's a roller coaster world, so you have to be prepared in your life as well. It's not always going to be a life of it's not always going to be a life of roses. It's going to have its ups and downs, it's difficult moments, and you have to accept and understand that. But knowing that life is fair, life is not fair. Life is not fair. concept of a level playing field is a flawed concept. There is no such thing. Life is not fair. But you get from it exactly what you put into it. You get from it exactly what you put into it. So in your personal life, put your best foot forward, exert your best efforts, do your best, and then that's all that you can do. Sometimes your best is not going to be enough. But at least if you do your best, you give yourself a chance. Because if you don't do your best at palatag-latag ka lang dyan, pahiga-higa at nagkakamot ka lang ng tiyan, you have no chance. Di ba? At least when you try your best, may pag-asa ka. It's not a sure thing, then there's nothing sure. But I find favor and luck favors those who work hard. So at least you give yourself a chance. So that's what I learned from my coaching career, and I think that applies to life as well. And the final thing is, the only way we win is by having a great team, surrounding ourselves with a good time tribe. In life, it's a good support system. In business or in sports, it's making sure you have a great team around you. Because today, in this VUCA world, this volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, in this VUCA world, the old heroic model of leadership no longer works.
True. True. I guess, coach, to be to look into it from a kumbaga strategic perspective, the best coaches and the best consultants would be the ones that could marry the strategic and the operational, and harmonize it, and get the best output out there. And I think, to me, I'm very, very happy that, we got to talk to a coach, Chot Reyes, na ang pinag-usapan natin itong 2.0 mo eh. Kasi talagang sa totoo lang, there's a lot that has been talked about, discussed about the Chot Reyes 1.0, the basketball coach. But this one, wow, kulang yung isang oras eh. I think magkakaroon pa tayo ng pangalawang pag-uusap nito, coach. I have to really just close out the discussion, and again, let's talk offline on how we would continue another of this. But let's just close off by siguro, coach, ipasok na natin itong isa sa iyong mga tribe man, Kurt Lariosa.
Kurt,
he gets to win our Kickstart Coffee, not
talaga.
exactly question.
Kaka-birthday lang ng daughter niya. Happy birthday.
Oy, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Hello.
He gets to win, si Kurt gets to win our Kickstart Coffee question of the day. Kaya meron siyang ganito. So ipapasok ko lang muna yung sarili ko para, again, we like to make mention of our friends from Kickstart Coffee. Thank you very much, Mr. Mike Asuncion of Silka Coffee, for always supporting us. But Kurt, you get to win for yourself and for your daughter that Kickstart Coffee coffee pack, which we will also send out to our guests, in syempre si Coach Chot. We'll get to have to experience the Kickstart way of
Masarap ba yan? Coffee connoisseur ako. Baka mapahiya sa akin.
Of course. Ay, walang problema po. I guarantee you na pag ganyan, magandang pag-uusap to, Mag-uusap tayo ng coffee. Let's talk. Okay, coach. Ganito, let's try to give out one big message to the audience who stayed with us for we maintained a good audience for the longest time dahil sa iyo. Ang ganda-ganda kasi ng pinag-usapan natin. Coach, give your message to our audience out there.
My message is very simple, that like I said earlier, we are in the midst of a leadership pandemic, and our country really needs better leaders. There are a lot of leaders around us, but there are very few good leaders. And the reason we need good leaders is because good leadership is infectious. And I want to always remind the people that I get to talk to that the leaders, you are the vaccine. Be the vaccine to this pandemic that we are now facing. So even if you don't have the title of boss, manager, or executive or CEO, nobody is exempt from the mantle of personal leadership. You can still lead, and the best person to lead is yourself. And as a leader, my final message is very simple. I know that a lot of us are going through a lot of trouble here, but find the purpose in this pain. There is a reason. Find the purpose in this pain and choose faith over fear. Always give it your best, and you will find di ka matatalo. You're always going to come up on top. So find the purpose in this pain and choose faith over here. And choose faith over fear. And sa ating mga kakababayan na nahihirapan, who are struggling, my message is very simple. Laban Pilipinas. Puso. Puso.
Sir. It will never be different from what you are sa coach. Laban Pilipinas puso. It's always that. Mix your message to our audience out there before we call it a night.
Actually, message ko, Coach Chot, thank you. Dami nating natutunan tonight. Ako, personally, dami kong natutunan. And ganda. Faith over fear and find the purpose in this. Find the purpose in our pain. So, yun nga, dami natin pinagdadaanan lahat, whether if it's whatever it is in life. And I hope marami po kayo natutunan kay Coach Chot Reyes tonight. Benny, maraming salamat for the invite. Stay safe and God bless. Thank you.
Alright, guys, stay with me para at least pag sinara ko na yung show, magkakasama tayo. Just wanna give a good shout out to some of my good friends, si Jeffrey Mariano.
Coach
and
Jude.
Also si and Jerry Nagarao. Thank you very much. Of course, Coach Chot Reyes. Teka, lagay natin. Hindi tayo pwede niya. Magagalit na naman sa akin yan. Kasi hindi, coffee niya. Coffee mo, Coach, nasa iyo na, ha? Wala na akong utang sa'yo. So, nag-guest kasi siya dyan, Coach Chot, Kaya, siya, he gets to have coffee. Coach Chot, thank you very much again for being with us, and I can't say this enough. Mauulit to. we get to have another talk again. So for Coach Chot and for Mix Bustos, again, ito po yung Pinoyliga founder Benny Benitez, saying goodbye for now, good night for now, and next week po. Usapang PSL po tayo. So Chang Abi Maranyo will get to be with us already. Si Chang, di ba, Coach? So Chang Abi gets to be the host next week at hopefully makasama natin yung kanyang mga kasamahan sa F2, the Powerhouse F2 team as the featured team for Usapang PSL. Again, for one of the greatest coach in PBA history and in life now, Coach Chot Reyes, and for Mix Bustos, this is Benny Benitez, signing off po. Maraming salamat po and still next week po. Salamat po again.
When uncertainty is our reality, we rise above with the things that matter. Gigify happiness. Gigify love. Gigify friendship. Gigify dreams. Gigify hope. With smart Giga music, video, games, work, and stories, we let our passions run free in the new world we face together. Smart, live Giga.